Gonna hop on Facebook. Hello. Happy day 10. It is Tuesday. And today is day 10 of January 2017. So I hope you guys are doing good. How are you doing? Have you given up? Have you given up on anything that you started out being passionate, ready out the gate? So please don't feel like behind if you are feeling that way. If you pick up one or two things this month from this group, that's more than we can all ask for. So we talked a lot about week 1 with some healthy habits for basic things: hydration, whole foods, rest, a couple of different recipes, planning your meals, some movement, so some basic things. And I have all kinds of ideas that I want to share with you. And it's kind of funny what happens when I look at the order in which to share them, kind of based on the feedback. And so one of the things, and also my own experiences of, just committing to doing this every day and showing up to share some kind of a content has been holding me accountable and also creating an awareness in myself of what may be showing up for you as well. So come Sunday, I definitely needed some time because life happens. And, you have to take the time and listen to yourself when you do need a little time, and you need to adjust accordingly and tap in. And so it kind of made me think about something else, a habit that I have and that I've learned be out of a necessity. So today is What's Your Story? And to explain it, I want to start out by saying that I, for many years, have been reading a lot of various books on personal development, on spiritual development, different self-help, personal development gurus of the world, and have been reading a lot of different things. And of course, with the practice of yoga for the last 15 or 16 years, lots of different of those little seeds kind of sprout along the way, and I get curious about various different things. One book that I read is Eckhart Tolle, The Art of Attention, I believe, is one of the first ones I read of his. And so to start what I'm going to talk about, this idea of what is your story. So a lot of times we're here talking about high vibe habits. So this is a body, mind, and soul well-being and elevating your state of mind, your state of body, and your state of like your heart, your soul, your essence. And a lot of things show up situationally that are actually all of it's all very intertwined. So our circumstances can sometimes show up in these negative or conflict ways, when really there's something rooted in all of that intertwinedness of body, mind, soul. So I want to share with you one little thing that I've had in a journal for a long time. All unhappiness is due to the ego. With it comes all your trouble. If you would just deny the ego and scorch it by ignoring it, you would be free. So the idea of the ego is that it's part of who we are that identifies with I, with me. But it's this small me rather than the big me. Or they say sometimes there's the small self and the big self. Either way you want to look at it, it's this idea that we have our core being, who we are, who we came in this human body vessel with, and then kind of this persona, or this person that we send out, this representative that we send out into the world. part of it's made up of our personality, and the ego is definitely serves its purpose. We see it developing in our young toddlers, and it's this very defiant, place in the world. And it's a lot of times it's just, we're wired, it's how it helps us survive. But if you can take some time and notice, so the idea is that we want to come from a more conscious place, from a more present place, rather than coming from this ego place. And so you can notice within yourself sometimes the difference. So when you're coming from your ego place, you're caught up in your story. So, and when you're coming from a conscious place, you're in your body, you're using all your senses, you're showing up right in that moment. You're not somewhere in your head or in your body in the past or in the future. You're right in that moment. And so sometimes you can tell the difference between these two things by kind of closing your eyes and trying to tap into your senses. What am I seeing right now? What am I feeling? What am I smelling? What can I taste, touch, all of those things? And or even just one thing that I think in the Art of Attention they talk about is closing your eyes and just drawing your attention to the sensations in your hand. Can you feel your hand? And just noticing the sensations within your fingertips, the palm, the heat, the throbbing blood you can start to feel, all these things. And so when you do that, you become conscious of your hand. And all else, present or past thoughts, feelings, things drift away. And so most of the time we operate from our ego. And in doing so, we often live in these stories that we create that are not necessarily real. So one of the habits that I've had when things get really confusing or frustrating or just messy or unsettling, upsetting, any type of like grievance that you may have with a person in a relationship, with a circumstance, just the way things are. It can be anything, you name it. There's a spiritual teacher named Byron Katie, and I'll post some links for you guys. She has her whole website, her books, her videos is called The Work, thework.com. And to do the work, it's this process of self-inquiry into digging into what is your story. So every now and then when I'm feeling like maybe at this time and also because I posted about some of the astrology that's happening in the world, it's the time of year when people start slacking on their resolutions, life just starts happening, and it's hard to know how to deal with all of that. And also, if you didn't see the video that I posted on Sunday with Gabrielle Bernstein, it's awesome. It's a YouTube video, and her marketing motto was like, what the one resolution, the only resolution you'll ever need. And it's really good. And it's kind of what we're talking about today, because and basically she says that no matter what it is that you distract yourself by, no matter what it is, whatever habit it is you're trying to overcome, whatever it is, the weight, whatever it is that you have for yourself that you'd like to change, you'd like to see yourself doing better, that there's something that lies beneath that is the root of why we have such a hard time in evolving and changing our habits. And so this process of self-inquiry, I think, is really valuable to do to help us become more present, more conscious, more mindful in our daily lives a majority of the time. And it is a practice. It's something that is really challenging, but I find thework.com, it's called, it starts with a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, because typically our grievances or this kind of stuff comes out of a relationship or just some sort of a confusing situation. And so basically what you do is you go through this worksheet, or you can take out a journal and just look at it online and just kind of start writing like whatever your issue is, and it gives you a really nice formula. And then you ask yourself a few questions about, is it true? So this story that I have that I'm upset about, and is it true? And there's no right or wrong to it. And there's great videos, you guys, if you want to check it out. It's actually really awesome. I love watching her videos. I find them really amusing. So you ask yourself, is it true? Yes or no? And there's no right or wrong there. It's complete self-inquiry. You're just asking yourself and noticing what comes up for you. Whether or not it's true doesn't matter. It's simply just noticing, what that's like to experience. So you ask yourself that, and then you say, okay, so how do I respond when I believe that it's true? What do I say? What do I do? What am I thinking? What am I feeling in my body? And then, and there's a few other things like, what do I need for this other person to change in order for this to all be okay? And a various series of different things. And then you ask yourself this very interesting question. You ask yourself, who would I be without this belief, if I didn't believe in this story? And it's like every time, like, oh yeah, like I could be peaceful. I could be free of that, because it's this constant struggle of what it is to be human, this struggle between us finding ourselves in our ego, finding ourselves in our pure conscious state. And so I'm very into getting myself into more of a conscious place and a mindful place, and being able to respond to the challenges from that space. But it's tricky. It's really tricky. And so I find the more often that I've done this, the faster and easier it becomes to even do it without necessarily doing it with a worksheet. So I'm going to wrap it up a little bit. Hi, Jen. How's it going? You have any questions about the challenge? You finding anything helpful? Anything that's been of use to you so far? Anything more you want to see in our daily share here? Please feel free to comment. It was so nice to see you today. It's really nice. I miss you. So yes, today is just considering what your story is, because I have found for myself personally that this same story likes to continue to reoccur as a pattern, showing up in all kinds of, it tries to disguise itself as something new, but usually at the bottom of it, as Gabrielle Bernstein explains, is often the same thing. And surprisingly, I'll share with you, I tend to find this this feeling of not being enough at the root of most of my stories, like a self-esteem kind of thing. I think it's probably true for more of us than we realize, that somehow we feel like we're not good enough, we're not this enough, that enough, or whatever. And yeah, it's all just a stinking story most of the time. And yeah, so check it out. I'll post thework.com. Maybe fill out a worksheet if you're going through some stuff, and see how it helps you. I hope it does, and I will catch you tomorrow. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it. Love you too. If you guys have any questions about this, as I gave you like a little mini snippet of something that's a grand piece of information, but I hope that it serves you well, and noticing your stories and noticing when you are in your ego and when you are in your present, loving, pure self. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great night.